Alright, so I'm going to go through this problem and show you how to convert using the energy formula. The most important thing for you to realize, however, is this is a pretty complicated problem, but you can totally do it. The first thing, I recognize the fact that it's asking about energy, so I obviously need to use my formula, E equals H, which is Planck's constant, times frequency. Okay. If you also notice, however, in this problem, I give you wavelength. I don't give you frequency. So in most problems, I give you frequency. H is a constant, and so you just plug in everything and solve for energy, so it's super easy. In this problem, however, you first need to take wavelength and find what the frequency is. So you'll be using your C equals wavelength times frequency. Not only did I do that to you, but I also gave you wavelength in centimeters. And remember, your units for wavelength need to be meters. For frequency need to be seconds to the -1 or hertz. Either one is fine. For energy, it needs to be joules, and this is seconds to -1, or it can also be hertz if you want it to be. Okay? So the first thing I have to do, unfortunately, is convert my wavelength to meters before I can even find my frequency. So I'm going to take 12 centimeters. If you need to do this in your head, if you can do this in your head, awesome. If you need to write it on paper, that's totally fine. That's what I'm doing. I'm going to put centimeters on bottom to cancel them out, meters up top. In 1 meter, they're 10 to the second centimeters, and I get that from my table in Unit 2. Then I'm going to take 12 and divide it by 100, and I get 0.12 meters. Now, I, right now, only know my wavelength. In order to solve for energy, I've got to find my frequency. So the first thing I need to do is solve for frequency. So I'm going to use my C equals frequency times, wavelength times frequency. So my C is 3.0 times 10 to the 8th. I'm going to set this equal to my wavelength, which is 0.12 meters, times my frequency. Now I'm going to divide both sides by 0.12, so I can solve for my frequency. And if you plug that into your calculator, 3.0 times 10 to the 8th divided by 0.12, I get, sorry, not the right answer, 0.12. Oh, I get 2.5 times 10 to the 1, 2, 3, 9, I believe. Let me double, yeah. So 2.5 times 10 to the 9th. And the units are going to be seconds to -1. Now, if I got a crazy long number like 2.51, 63, 1, whatever, keep it in your calculator and don't round. All right, you can write however many decimal places you want here, but keep everything in your calculator, or else what you'll be doing is rounding twice, once here and once at the end, which we don't want to do. Now, this is my frequency. In the problem, I'm not asking you for frequency, I'm asking you for energy. So now what you have to do is plug this into your energy formula. So energy equals your Planck's constant, and Planck's constant is 6.626 times 10 to the 23rd, and I will give that to you on any test or quiz, times 10 to the -34th, and I'm going to multiply that by the frequency that I got, which is 2.5 times 10 to the 9th. Okay? And so what I'm going to do is take that and just multiply it out, 6.626 times 10 to the -34th, and I get 1.6565 times 10 to the -24th. Now, look back at the original problem. Here this has 2 sig figs. 3.0 has 2. This has 4. So my final answer, I'm going to need 2. So it's going to be the 1.656 is going to round to 1.7 times 10 to the -24th. Sorry about that. And my units for energy are joules. So if you look through this problem, I gave you wavelength in centimeters. The first thing we did was convert to meters. Okay. Then I was able to use my wavelength to solve for my frequency, which I got to be 2.5 times 10 to the 9th. Then with frequency, and only with frequency, can I plug that in to this formula here, my E equals HV, and I was able to get my energy, which was 1.7 times 10 to the negative 24th. So it's a long problem. It's kind of mean of me to require you to do that much, but I do expect you to be able to go through that thought process. So just really look at the formulas, especially because I give them to you. Figure out what you know, where you're trying to go, and go through the steps just like what I did. And that's it.